Hello and welcome again to this edition of Phi TV. I'm your host, Brad Swanson. We are coming to you from inside the Florida Capitol during committee weeks in advance of the 2022 Florida legislative session. We are joined by none other than Senator Danny Burgess. Thanks for coming on.
Brad, happy to be here.
All right, so you are intrinsically involved in a million different issues. You worked on some great issues for ours last year. Thank you for your efforts there. But this year you're talking about digital media literacy. Tell us what that bill is all about.
Yeah, so we filed Senate Bill 480, social media literacy. It's gaining extensive bipartisan support and really gaining traction back home. I believe this is incredibly important because social media is pervasive in our society. Children have access to social media at a very young age these days, and so many kids at the age of 8 already have a cell phone in their hands, and that means the world is at their fingertips. And while there are certainly benefits to that, there's, I believe, so many risks, so many negatives, and a lot of danger out there.
For sure.
Things you don't want your kids to be seeing.
Yeah.
But how does a parent protect them from that? I think the only way we can do that, because we're not unringing that bell, is to educate.
Yeah.
It's through the school, and it's empowering parents and educating parents to be able to keep up with the rapidly changing nature of social media so that they can talk to their kids about the risks and rewards of what's at their fingertips.
Yeah, I mean, you've got all the greatness of the entirety of the web, but then you've also got the ability for, shall we say, predators and bad actors out there to get a hold of these kids, and ultimately, if it's not something prurient, it could just be something about money or something just transactional that they could be taking advantage of these kids. So thank you for doing that. So you're going to use the educational system as part of that vehicle to educate the kids, correct?
That's exactly right.
Excellent. All right, so let's talk about something that's near and dear to my heart and to yours. Veterans Day is coming up. Tell us how Veterans Day sits in your heart, and obviously you served as the head of the VA here for Florida, or the agency here. Tell us a little bit about that.
Look, I'm still in the Army, 9 years in. I was just promoted to major. It's the best.
Thank you for your service.
It's an honor. It's the best professional hat that I get to wear. To wear the uniform of so many before me. It's inspiring, and it helps me serve not just in the military but here in public office. This Veterans Day, I think, is all the more important and more special because we need to recognize that given the events of the withdrawal from Afghanistan, there's a lot of post 9/11 era veterans, both currently serving and those who got out of service, who are struggling with that. We need to keep them in our thoughts. We need to be there for them when they were there for us. There's a whole generation of service members who are asking a lot of very difficult questions right now of, was my sacrifice worth it? Did I make a difference? The answer is yes. But we can understand why they're asking those questions. So we need to keep them in mind, bear that in mind as we move forward for November 11th, and really honor them for what they've done.
As a son of a veteran, it's so important to honor that service. But you think of the very real challenges veterans face, from everything from depression and suicide, which are obviously the nth degree of the downside of that, to simple access to health care and benefits and retraining. There's so much that goes on with helping veterans, especially in Florida. But we know that you were really on the vanguard, serving those veterans as a active duty, enlisted guy. I think of all of our bases in Florida. What's the impact of having veterans in our communities across Florida?
Oh, well, I mean, you've got the best of the best. They have given so much to the country. They give so much to the community, both in uniform and out. So there is no harm, no risk. It's only pure benefit to have, God-fearing, red, white, and blue, all-American patriots next door as your neighbors.
Yeah. The great thing is we have some active duty folks, or not active duty, but reservists serving in the legislature. So it looks like both parties are fully engaged and have great representatives from all branches of service in the Florida legislature. Thanks for your service. And before we go, we're going to ask this question. When you're not fighting for the free world, number one, not fighting for your constituents, number two, which you do all the time, what do you like to watch? What do you like to stream? Or what show are you hoping comes out soon?
Sure. Boy, that's a good question. So my wife and I just wrapped up the Vikings series. It was like a
great
full investment.
Series, yeah.
Excellent. We were a little behind the curve, obviously, but that certainly was one of our favorites. We love historical period pieces like that. I personally have been binging late at night all these documentaries, both historical and anything you can think of. So yeah, we certainly have. But as parents, you pay to play. Right? So when your kids go to bed, you kind of want that time to be able to, unwind and but then before you know it, it's the middle of the night and they still get up early. And
Right. Some shows aren't great that late at night, but some are. So we're glad our internet providers can be there to give you that little bit of relief from the serious work you do during the day. But we sure appreciate you making time for Phi TV and our viewers, and thanks for everything you do in the legislature.
Appreciate it, man. Absolutely.
Thanks. That's all the time we have for this episode of Phi TV. For more interviews like this one, make sure you hit us up on our social media feeds. And for now, thanks for tuning in.